Radhe Radhe Govinda Govinda Radhe 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 Govinda Govinda Radhe. I think it's the fourth attempt now to complete this verse. It's wonderful commentaries of Das Babaji and beautiful feelings and realizations shared by Gurudev and all the brothers and sisters who have been merging into this verse. I feel today we will complete it, and so I'm very much happy that I can one more time read to all of you together for the pleasure of our dear Gurudev and all the devotees. So just to again read this verse and then continue with the commentary from where we kind of stopped last time. And I remember that Gurudev at the end of last week's sharing was giving us some homework to meditate on a specific commentary, and we will then continue there and then relish what will appear from that onwards. Harupa Manjari Sakhi Pranayena Devim Tvat Bahudata Bhuja Valarim Ayatakshim Paschat Aham Kalita Kamata Ranga Rangam Neshyami Kim Hari Vibhushita Keli Kunjam. Oh, my dear friend Rupa Manjari, when can I walk behind you when you lovingly take wide-eyed goddess Radhika, who is immersed in waves of desire, to the play grove that is decorated by Sri Hari as she holds her wine-like arm with yours. So I continue where we kind of stopped last time, right, Gauranga Sundar? Yeah. Rangamai Swamini floats on the waves of Kama, holding your Rupa Manjari's arm, while I, Tulsi, walk anxiously behind her, watching her stumbling gait, afraid that she will trip or fall out of eagerness to meet Mohan, and ready to hold her then. Just one feeling came in this when Swamini is walking and holding Rupa's arm, while Tulsi and the other Manjaris walk anxiously behind, and then they watch her, afraid that she will trip or fall, and they're ready to hold her then. So we often hear that Swamini has this very, very intimate, dear and loving relationship to the Manjaris, and Gurudev often describes her as the mama who takes care of the babies. But here, when she's on Abhisar, the roles are a bit reversed. Now the Manjaris are so anxious. They feel like if they are not there, she might trip or fall, and then who will take care of her? It's like when a mother watches a child playing or driving a bicycle. The mother is always watching very anxiously that nothing happens to her child, that she makes it home or she makes it on her play, but nothing happens to her. So here I was just feeling that when the Manjaris are walking behind Radharani, they know how tender she is and how eager she is to meet Mohan, that she's also not in control of herself anymore. So they need to be also behind her to catch her just in case she would trip or fall. And also Rupa she's holding her arm, means that she has fully trust in Rupa, the Rupa will bring her to the Kunja. When Swamini sees a blackish tamal tree on the way, she mistakes it for Mohan. And when she sees a golden vine entwining this tree, she mistakes it for a rival gopi embracing him. You will help her out of her illusion, while I will help Swamini meet with Shyam in a kunja house, which he adorns with his own bodily luster. You will help her out of her illusion, while I will help Swamini meet with Shyam in a kunja house, which he adorns with his own bodily luster. Gurudev, this means that without the manjaris, the abhisar can never be complete, because Swamini, sometimes she sees a tree, tamar tree, then she starts embracing that tree. Sometimes she sees another golden creeper and she thinks it's the other gopi, he's with the other gopi. So the abhisar becomes very difficult for her without the manjaris. The words Kama Taranga Rangam apply here to billowing waves of Madan Ras, the pinnacle of prema, and not to material lust. The tantras say, Prema eva goparamanam kama iti agamat pratam. The pure love of the gopis is known as lust, because the external activity appears to be the same.
I think that internet broke. Yeah. Gopinathji, is it okay now? We don't hear you, Gopinath. We don't hear you. Sorry.
Thank you. Okay, now?
Now, yes. Yes.
Oh, all right. So
Can you repeat the tantras say from that sentence, please?
Yeah. The tantras say, Prema eva goparamanam kama iti agamat pratam. The pure love of the gopis is known as lust, because the external activity appears to be the same. Nevertheless, there is complete absence here of desire for personal sense enjoyment. That's a deep paradoxical secret. Sahaja gopira prema nahe prakrita kama, kama krida shamme tore pohe kama nama. Chaitanya Charitamrita says, in this world, it is also noticeable that some activities appear the same externally, but have different targets. For instance, two persons may be picking flowers in a garden. One of them is doing it to gratify his own nose, and the other is doing it to worship the Lord. The first person binds himself to this illusory world by striving for sense gratification. Two persons may be picking flowers in a garden. One of them is One of them is doing it to gratify his own nose, and the other is doing it to worship the Lord. The first person binds himself to this illusory world by striving for sense gratification, while the other unfolds prema by working within the realm of the Lord's Swarup Shakti, named Bhagavat Bhakti. Gurudev, last time you said this is a very deep meaning and we should meditate on this. maybe Gauranga Sundar, you could help a bit in this to make us more understand what is this. Externally it appears the same. Also the gopis' activities externally appear, but there's a very, very deep difference in doing it for my own self gratification or for the pleasure of my Ishtadev, my Lord.
Yeah, Radhe Radhe. This is very, very crucial point to understand difference between prema, pure, selfless love, and the kama, actually, different activities for our own pleasure, to please our own senses. So it's very nicely here said that pure love of the gopis is known as lust because of external activity, appears to be the same. So outside, if we are just looking from outside appearance, gopis are behaving like ordinary girls who are very lusty for their boyfriend. But to stay on that level is a big mistake. We should understand that those personalities in the form of gopis are completely free from selfish desire to please their own senses. Their hearts are flowing in the selfless, pure love to satisfy their love. And Radhika, who is the main of all the gopis, actually showing through her own example this difference from external activity and inner attitude. And our acharyas are talking in their scriptures that great difference between prema and kama, lust, is like iron and gold. But someone who is on bodily consciousness of life, very easily he can mistake it. And acharyas are trying to teach us about this great difference. Radhika's desire is to fulfill all Mohan's, Krishna's desires. She wants to give him a pleasure. When we say pleasure, it's not like saying he wants only to satisfy him. To give a pleasure to someone means to give him the pleasure for all his senses. So all existence of Srimati Radharani, like a main gopi, is meant to give him the pleasure to all his senses. It means to all his heart. And Baba is staying here and giving example of two persons for our clear understanding. Externally, Atulji, yes, thank you. From external point of view, person who is taking the flowers to satisfy his nose is doing the same activity like devotee who is picking these flowers to satisfy the senses of his beloved Ishtadev. External activity is the same, but attitude is completely different. And result is also completely different. Person who is picking the flowers, trying to satisfy his own nose or sense of smelling, is becoming the slave of karma, and he is completely drowned in this samsara, circle of birth and death. Shortly to say, he is becoming more and more and more conditioned. But devotee who has completely another attitude. His desire is to pick the flowers for the pleasure of Ishtadev. Slowly is awakening his dormant love in his heart. So I remember Prabhupada also gave one very nice example, practical example from daily life, which we can also apply. Also, this example is also very nice and clear. He said there's two persons who are working in the factory and they are standing on the same machine. They are doing the same job in the same machine. One is devotee and one is ordinary materialistic person. Looking from outside, they are doing the same job. They will receive the same salary. They are producing certain stuffs, same stuffs, but one is doing for himself, for maintaining himself or his family, but another is doing because this is instruction of his spiritual master. So by doing the same job, one is staying in the circle of karma, and another, by fulfilling desire of spiritual master, doing the same job like the previous one, is trying to satisfy, to please his spiritual master by fulfilling his instruction. And result of that is that by doing this job, like instruction of spiritual master, he is advancing in his spiritual life. And his dormant, pure love in the heart slowly is awakening. Why Baba is giving here this example and with flowers, and Prabhupada is giving these examples in the factory, because they know that sadhakas has to do many things in their daily life, but they are trying to give the proper instructions and show the way how one same activity can be used to advance in a spiritual life. And personally, I think this is very practical example as removing many doubts, because all of us, we have to do something to maintain. But which kind of attitude we have and under whose instructions we are doing, this is a great difference. So in the same manner, activities of the gopis are meant for, generally say, for Krishna's pleasure, for the pleasure of his senses, not for themselves. And this is the sign of pure, transcendental love, which can be exchanged only on transcendental platform, in a transcendental bodies, in a transcendental relationship. And Kama, sometimes it mentioned that gopis are flowing on the waves of Kama. Radhika is especially Taranga Rangini. She is running, she is flowing like a Ganges on these waves of Kama. Because looking from outside, she looks like a girl who is crazy out of love, but not to satisfy her senses. She is crazy to satisfy Krishna's senses. And in the same manner, her manjaris, her kinkaris are running behind her, like Guru Parampara, Rupa Manjari, Rati Manjari, Manjari, Guru Manjari, and finally, Nava Manjari, the new one. So they are running, but not to satisfy themselves. They are running to support Srimati Radhika and to bring her in the Kunja where Mohan is waiting. So whenever we listen about these subjects, we should understand and know and remember this difference between prema, pure transcendental love, and activities which are result of this pure love. Because these kind of activities are also pure activities. When attitude is pure, then activity is pure. When attitude is polluted, then activity is also polluted and becomes materialistic. But with attitude, desires are pure, full of love, automatically all activities or other emotions are pure. And we can see also here how something which is very low in material world, like a kama, like a lust, it's very low. When it comes with transcendental feelings and love, automatically becomes transformed. Outside looking is the same, but with touch, with transcendental love, pure love, it becomes transformed. Like a fear. Fear in material world is very negative emotion, strong negative emotion, which can destroy personal life. But we can see when fear, same feeling of fear appears in connection with the pure love, then this fear is the part of prema which is increasing more and more and more and more loving, sweet relationship. What will happen with my beloved when he will come? Maybe he is in some problem. You know, this is some kind of fears, but which kind? These kind of fears are increasing and increasing and increasing the pure love. And this is the power of transcendental prema, transcendental love. That all emotions which are coming in contact with prema, pure love, are becoming transformed, and ultimately dormant love in the heart of devotee is awakening, and becoming more stronger and stronger. When we approach meditation on lila like this, knowing and feeling this and accepting these differences, then automatically sadhaka will also flow in these waves of loving pastimes. I said something.
Radhe.
Yes,
Radhe. Just a comment on Dandavat to all. Thank you so much for this explanation, so clear about the difference of position from internal position and external position. What remains for me very mysterious is that in the lila, in the transcendental world of the lila, there is no external position. And so why does Baba talk about the difference between the external and the internal position? All positions are within the spiritual. Everything manjaris are doing is done with complete and surrendered heart. So it's I say this in the form of a question. Can you help to understand? And this links to an even more really beautiful mystery for me that came a little bit earlier, a few lines above, where, and Gopinath commented on it, the manjaris are there to help Radha to avoid the illusions. Because, and Gopinath correctly commented, because she's seeing her Mohan everywhere. And she mustn't become confused and distracted. She must find her way to the Nikunj and for her meeting with Mohan, and mustn't be confused. But what it seems to me is that there is no illusion. That Radha has no illusion. And above all, we all understand this principle, this idea that when we love perfectly, we see the object of our love everywhere. So what I want to say, and maybe I want to ask you this as a question too, Gaura, is it an illusion when Radha sees Mohan in every tree? Isn't this just as real as the reality of Mohan that's sitting in the Nikunj waiting? Radhe.
Radhe, thank you very much, Vidavaji. So as I understand, Baba is giving, first of all, this kind of example, and other acharyas are also giving this kind of example, because they know that sadhakas will listen about these loving, amorous pastimes. Sadhakas will listen. And he wants to clear in their consciousness difference between kama and prema. So when they are meditating, he's warning them, don't meditate from your senses and your materialistic mind. Understand that this is transcendental love and transcendental pastimes. Because these loving pastimes between Radha and Krishna are Narvada Lila, like a human. And it's very easy for materialistic mind, not sufficiently purified, to slip away from this transcendence and to start to enjoy with his own senses. And Baba is saying, when you notice this, just remember that this is not materialistic pastime, like a human. It said like a human. So it means that it's not a human, but it looks like a human. So this is a little paradox. And you said, so it means she is in illusion, but she is not in illusion. Why she said in illusion? Because it looks like illusion in one sense. But on another sense, it is illusion under the Yoga Maya, not Mahamaya. And this kind of illusion under the Yoga Maya is very beneficial for nourishing intensity of amorous pastimes. Otherwise, everything will be neutral. And we cannot approach and meditate and think about Lila from neutral position. Because this is just information like, knowledge or something like that. But if we understand that pastimes are covered with Yoga Maya, which brings Krishna, Radhika, all Vrajavasis in so-called transcendental illusion, then we can understand that this kind of illusion helps them to intensify their emotions. Because without these emotions, without this illusion, transcendental illusion, there will be no pastimes. Krishna will be always situated in his supreme godly position, and Radhika also will be situated in her supreme godly position. But in Vraja, especially in Vraja, they rejected all these Aishwarya aspects, and they voluntarily want to be under the illusion. Because in that way, they can exchange their parakya bhav. So this illusion is a servant of their parakya bhav, forbidden love, madhurya rasa. This illusion is also the servant of vatsalya rasa, sakya rasa, is a servant. So this is the mystery, this is achintya. And we have to meditate and relish that. Not from neutral position. Just go, I also want to be in that kind of illusion. To run after my beloved Swamini who is in illusion. Otherwise, all rasa is spoiled. Because this kind of illusion intensifies adbhuta, this chanting feelings like a human. And we sadhakas, because of that, we can meditate. It's very familiar to us. We can feel it. We can make some parallels. But Baba is warning us be aware. This is not ordinary kama. This is activity of prema. This is my attempt. Try. Sorry if I...
Udavaya, it was really a very beautiful reflection you had now. I'm trying to follow this, what you were putting out there with if there's any internal or external in the Leela, and I see it as you see, it's all internal, but it appears for us sadhakas to properly meditate on the Leela, as Gauranga Sundar pointed out. So there is also a technique or a practice how to meditate on the Leela, how to meditate on this very intimate, confidential pastimes. So from which position we should meditate on those Leelas of Radha Krishna and of course as our position as Manjaris. But I also loved this reflection, Uda, what you just said about the illusion, like is Swamini in illusion or is it real for her? And I was just trying to meditate on that, and I felt that, wow, for her it's real. For her, she sees Mohan in the tree and she runs to the tree, and maybe she would just stay with the tree the whole night, and have very sweet conversations and, hugging the tree, maybe kissing the tree, because she's so, it's the perfect moment of love, I feel, no? How more intense can love be if you see your beloved in everything, no? Like Gurudev always says, Chit dekho tit shamai, wherever you go, wherever I go, wherever I see you. And I just had a very small experience in my life. Some years back, we had a very intense summer months with Gurudev. And when we left, and we were, when you're with Gurudev, often you're very sleep deprived, like if you are trying to follow his rhythm, you don't have much sleep. So I remember we left Vrindavan and we went to the airport, and it was so weird because in so many instances I felt I saw Gurudev in the airport. I saw him in the plane. I saw somebody in a pink shirt and I thought, this is Gurudev, And I looked at Gopika and I said, like, my God, it's like, then I felt like, my God, how intense love can be, like for my Gurudev now I'm speaking. But then if you put it into how intense the love of the divine couple is, this is just a mere small reflection of that, but you see everywhere and it's an illusion, but the feeling is real, no? That's what I felt like. I felt him, even it was not him, that person wasn't, but the feeling like he was really present. So I just came to me this small story in my life, and then I was thinking that how real it is for her, and so then the Manjaris taking her out from her illusion, I was feeling like they know that she's seeing the tree, but they know that the feeling is real, and they want to help her to reach there, so it can be this perfect moment of anurag, of love, because she is already in anurag, right, Gauranga? So she's already in anurag with the tree, but now we have to help her to get to the real object of her love. And I don't know if that made sense at all. It was just a small feeling which came up. Thank you so much, Uda Bhaiya, like for steering this. It's very beautiful to meditate on. Thank you. Go on. Or if we have someone from the devotees. Okay, Gurudev is saying go on. Okay. He's signaling like this. Okay. Where were we? It is well known that the Lord is not captured by mere lust, which is not attended with pure love for him. Seeing that the Lord is controlled to the utmost by the Gopika's lust, it can be easily understood that this lust is the pinnacle of deep love. Therefore, Jiva Goswami writes in Bhakti Sandarbha, this amorous love is called Kam or lust because it resembles lust. But the mundane Kupit called Smara is different from this. For many differences can be seen between the two. Usually the word Kam is used to indicate desire or lust, and Priti or Prema, the attitude of wanting to please the Lord. Therefore, although the activities of lust and love appear to be the same, the desire to please oneself has been called lust, and the desire to please Mohan has been called pure love. From this, it is easily understood that the lust of the gopis, who are free from desires for personal sense pleasure, is the pinnacle of pure love.
So we should understand Kama and pure love or prema, and very often in the scriptures is said priti. And we know from Bhagavad Gita, bhajatam priti purvakam dadadi buddhi yogantam. When person is practicing his bhajan with priti, pure love, then dadadi buddhi yogantam, spiritual intelligence appears slowly in his heart. But which kind of intelligence? It's not ordinary materialistic intelligence, it's devotional intelligence, which is full of devotional feelings. So but to come on that stage, we need a lot of mercy, ocean of mercy we need, or maybe one drop of mercy, because we have to become free from this mundane kupit, Gopinath said. Can you repeat this, Gopinathji?
Yes.
But
the mundane Cupid, called Smara, is different from this. For many differences can be seen between the two. Usually the word Kama is used to indicate desire or lust, and Priti or Prema, the attitude of wanting to please the Lord.
This kind of attitude is the essence of prema, actually, pure love. To please Ishtadev, then to serve Ishtadev, and ultimately to have direct relationship, direct meeting with Rishi. Because through this direct meeting, direct vision, I can fulfill my desire to please Ishtadev, his desires, by serving him. And to come on that stage, we need the mercy. And first thing which is important to be free by the mercy is to be free from this smara, mundane Cupid. And I just remember now, I don't know, from Saints of Raj or Saints from Bengal, in one of these life stories, it's said, like instruction. One Baba gave instruction to the disciple. First die and then practice smarana, bhajan. Gurudev is saying many times also like this. So when Gopinath was reading this, and he said smara, we know smarana is deep, is meditation. But for this real meditation, there are two conditions in this word. Marana, to die, and smara, to be free from kama. Then smarana can slowly become deep meditation. What does it mean, die? Bodily consciousness. And with bodily consciousness, sadhaka will be free from smara. When his bodily consciousness is becoming spiritual consciousness, in spiritual identity, he is becoming free from materialistic karma. And then his heart is ready for smarana. And this is the two blockages. You can see in the beginning, smara, lust, materialistic lust, is a bondage, is a blockage. And bodily consciousness of life has to be removed, has to die, to disappear. Marana. So we need kripa for that. And all mantras are helping us and following the footsteps.
But if what you say is true here, Baya,
I don't know.
and I don't doubt, it's true. But if this is true, that means also that we must die. What also must die is our mind as part of bodily consciousness. And the consequence is that prema doesn't contain mind. Prema isn't a way of thinking, I'm going to love really big, really high. Prema isn't an attitude. Prema isn't a good idea. Prema is a being, a way of being. It's one that's so high that we don't even realize it. We can't, it's not, we don't think about it, we just live it. We just feel it only. And it's where every atom of our soul is dedicated to loving. There's no room for thought. There's no room for wondering if this is a good idea. It's total. All our being is loving. There's nothing else happening. So the ego has to die too, is what you're saying.
Yes, false identification that I am this body. When I say I'm this body, it's not only this gross body, but actually I'm not this mind, materialistic mind. I'm not in materialistic intelligence. And especially I'm not this materialistic ego. So this is the dying. But mind can help us to practice this process of dying by mentally conceiving the spiritual identity.
Hello?
Through the bhajan. And this is the process. Because ultimately, like you said, when person attains perfection, his mind and heart are in the same tune, spiritual tune, chitta vrit. And there is no difference of his heart, feelings, and his spiritual mind. There is no difference between his spiritual mind and spiritual feelings. Because he is situated in his swarup or sthai bhav.
So you have this beautiful, I was just reading this morning, right at the end of Bhagavad Gita, very famous, you know it, I'm sure, Krishna says to Arjuna, okay, now you've got to forget everything I told you and surrender. So all the intellectual knowledge you've acquired through this whole book, forget it all, erase, and just surrender.
Yesterday, in Japanese, Zoom Sangha, we were reading and talking about Gurudev's words. And he said in the beginning, we have doubts, and because of that, we need to remove this doubt that Krishna is a God. And we need the scriptures, we need the knowledge, information which will convince us about that. But when the doubts are removed, devotee assign, okay, you are Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'm spiritual soul, I accept everything, I don't have any doubts. But now I understand the essence of all scriptures. The only way how I can approach to you is through your love. And I'm taking shelter of your love. And please give me mercy. Sarva Dharma Parityaj. Please give me a mercy to approach to your beloved, to your love. and I want to be a servant of your love. And I'm not interested anymore about all this philosophical knowledge, jnana, arguments, logic. Who wants, let's be happy with this.
Because Prabhupada says, one grain of pure love, one grain of prema contains all the Shastras, all the books, all the knowledge is contained in one moment of pure love of God.
Love of the God.
Love.
Love means Radhika's lotus.
Continue. Swamini goes on Abhisar, holding Sri Rupa Manjari's hand. Waves of lust are manifest in each of her limbs. Her passionate love for Mohan is like a wave which is manifest through the gesture of her eyes, her gait, and her words. It's a strong desire to meet him, but it is all for Mohan's pleasure. Anxiously she asks Rupa, how long will it take before I can see him again? Oh, tell me, Rupa, how far is it still? Aha, how eagerly he must be sitting there waiting for me. She's so worried for him, Gurudev.
Wow.
How long will it take before I can see him again? Tell me, Rupa, how far is it still? Ah, how eagerly he must be sitting there, waiting for me. There is a delight in separation, although it brings suffering. Such delight cannot be found in this world. Unless feelings of separation arise, there can be no awakening of a strong desire to attain the beloved. Therefore, the first target of the practicing devotee must be love in separation. Unless there is eagerness born from a feeling of want, one cannot become qualified to experience anything. Unless feelings of separation arise, there can be no awakening of a strong desire to attain the beloved. Therefore, the first target of the practicing devotee must be love in separation. I'm a little puzzled here. How can I have a strong desire? No, how can I feel pangs of separation if I've never ever met her, Gurudev?
Yeah, it's a feeling of love makes separation. Read this line. Feeling of love is so intense. Love is there. So I feel separation.
So first I have to learn how to love.
That is sambandha. And come to the feeling. And this comes in my spiritual jiva, a spirit, that's a soul, and that soul can feel that. When we want to feel with my bodily identification, that is my blockage of material cover. Body cannot feel that way. That material body can only feel to enjoy myself, my senses. Only I can enjoy myself. I cannot give the pleasure to the Lord. I cannot give the pleasure to Radhika in the service of her. And she also is not, she is totally spiritual, no? In the form of the love. She moving for that. Rather, after not working. Yeah. No. Wow.
Just running out of battery, sorry.
What I understand Gurudev saying is that we all feel separation, every jiva, but we have to realize that it's Radha Mohan that we're separated from.
Yeah. And we have to come out from my body to the jiva consciousness. Sadhana we have to do. That is sadhana. To avideha, to my jiva consciousness. That jiva will give sarup of mercy of Radhika. That we are the Manjari of Radhika. To feel and see this and understand that. That jiva can feel, but this body cannot feel because he knows only my enjoyment subject. His practice is only this. So we have to feel this in going to my sarup and jiva. Then is a clear cut. And that sadhana we have to do to live there. That sadhana is very important. And this, our false ego, is never living till this body is there. Is very attached with the body. When we die, then is living false ego. This is the problem of false ego. Ahankar, that is ahankar. To practice to live in my sarup, and sarup where? In my jiva, in my spirit, my spiritual identity.
Jiva Avisara.
That is jiva Avisara. That sadhana, always we do bhajan to bring here. So bhajan is important to bring out from my so many life practice to live in bodily consciousness to this place. It's very easy to forget it. You are talking about the mind. Also what I am doing in my sadhak deha, material body, in my false ego, manobritti means mind is moving in that direction. The circle of mind is moving in that direction. And when we bring in my spiritual body or jiva body, then mind start moving in that circle. So that time mind also change. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhaka Guna. No sadhana is required, but the sadhana is required only to come from our first ego to spiritual body. This sadhana is required. Immediately we jump outside. So beautifully, Baba mentioning, I am listening this time, Vinod Baba. So much philosophy is giving, so much tattva vichar giving, And Baba is giving so easy way, in this way, that you only practice. So I take the one juicy thing that we never leave our ahankar, false ego, till it not go to the graveyard body. It's not going to leave me. When it's not going to leave ahankar, then why to stay here? Why not to do sadhana that we know that there is a jiva, tattva, and my sarup, can we stay only there? If we want that, we have to do sadhana to do there. And this sadhana, he say, how I will test humbleness, service mood, kindness is coming to me or not. And one thing he suggests us, to this sadhana we have to do when we come to the jiva consciousness, then Radharani can give sarup to that. By the mercy. But we have to make the desire by doing sadhana in this material body. If we not do sadhana or bhajan or intense bhajan, he said, no, intense we need. Because without intense, we will not leave this place. Because we are living. We will not die from here. Intense lalsa, mana intense desire for this. That day it will be changed. We have to do this sadhana in my sadhak there. And if any material desires are there, is not possible. Then it will keep you in material body. Because that will be fulfilled by material things. So say, who is totally full-timer, then he can be intense. Or who is in grihasthasana, slowly he can work for that. But this is important. Slowly he has to develop this intensity for developing this movement, moving from here to there. If not, we will always forget my spiritual identification. We will talk from outside, we will think from outside, we will calculate from outside. What do you think of this?
I think I'm a little too enthusiastic about getting rid of my mind. Slowly.
Morning class also was this, and then Kishori was reading some Bhagavad Gita, Prabhupada, and both was the similar, so it was so effective. I cannot say you. Very beautiful happened in morning class.
Yeah, I was there at that moment. I was there, yes.
It was so beautiful. I don't know how it comes to me. Prabhupada mercy. And then something Mahatma reached from Vilapa Kusumanjali. Because I know, say, Guru Kripa happened that it happens. I want to listen now that subject. What happened? It was really beautiful. Now, go on. You were there, I see that.
Unless there is eagerness born from a feeling of want.
Yeah, this is the point. We are not eager for that. Yeah.
One cannot become qualified to experience anything.
You see, eager for my Sarupa.
The devotee should not forget this when becoming absorbed in the bliss of meditation. A person like me feels no spiritual want at all. I'm having fun. My belly is full. Everything's okay. The practicing devotee will feel ashamed when he realizes the difference between his careless way of life and the activities of the Goswamis. Sriman Mahaprabhu stood behind the Garuda pillar and viewed Lord Jagannath from there, bathing in his own tears. Garuda stambera tole ache eko nima kole, shekala barilo ashru jale. Shri Gaura Sundara is Radha Bhavadhyaya, enriched by Radha's mood. Seeing himself meeting Krishna at Kurukshetra as a beggar woman. Although Mohan is her all in all, Swamini could not embrace him and hold him to her heart. What pain, what an anguish. Boundless bliss agitates the ocean of anguish as she thinks to herself, go to Braj. I want to see you in Braj. Raghunath Das is the embodiment of Sriman Mahaprabhu's grace. His love in separation is natural. The devotee will greatly benefit by hearing and chanting about the stream of his worship. Together with Tulsi and Rupa, Swamini arrives at the gate of the Kunja, Hari Vibhushita Keli Kunja. Sri Hari single-handedly decorated the trysting place where Rupa and Tulsi bring Swamini and is waiting there for her. Radhika is known as Vasaka Sajika, a girl who decorates the trysting place awaiting her hero. But now the situation is reversed. Hari made a sitting place for her with flowers moistened by his own loving tears. The kunja is adorned by Hari's form, qualities, and craftsmanship. How expert he is in decorating. It is as if he decorates all four sides of the kunja with his pure love for his Priyaji, thinking, here I will sit with my Priyaji. This is the expertise of Prema Seva, the mutual service of love. When Swamini enters the kunja with Rupa and Tulsi, she is amazed. First of all, it is the kunja which delights Cupid, and then it is also decorated by the very hands of the transcendental, youthful Cupid of Vrindavan. Swamini asks, Shyam, who decorated this kunja? Hari says, who knows? You understand. Srimati then, you have done it? Nobody else can decorate like this. You have done all this work knowing that I would come. I should have been here with you to help you. Today she's very munificent. It is Swamini's Hari who steals her heart with his loving expertise. 2 teardrops trickle from Radhika's eyes. How affectionately Shyam helps her onto her sitting place. How much love he has in his heart as he sits at her soft feet and takes them to his chest, asking her, "How have you come all the way here with these tender feet? The ground of Braja is so hard." He repeatedly looks. I will do it.
No, yes, do.
Yes.
Read all.
Yes. Shyam helps her onto her sitting place. How much love he has in his heart as he sits at her soft feet and takes them to his chest, asking her, "How have you come all the way here with these tender feet? The ground of Braj is so hard." He repeatedly looks at Swamini's lotus feet that are grayed by dust. Tulsi understands the mood and brings a golden pitcher with water and a golden bowl. While Tulsi pours out the water, Shyam washes Swamini's feet and dries them off with his yellow dhoti, while tears trickle from his eyes. Without the mercy of the acharyas, this cannot be experienced. By their grace, the divine remembrance of this pastime will arise within the heart. The mind must be absorbed in this subject. Saying Gurudev that without the mercy of the acharyas, this cannot be experienced. By their grace, the divine remembrance of this pastime will arise within the heart. The mind must be absorbed in this subject.
Yeah. In the physical body, mind observed in material subject. And here, mind will observe in this past. This is two identity, separate.
But it needs the mercy, no?
Yeah. And our sadhana and mercy. When we are greedy for this, then mercy comes. Greed has to come. Like a baby has to cry, then mother takes in the lap. Baby cannot jump to the lap. The mercy is taking mother lap. But crying is the mind work. Baby work to cry. Then mother take on lap and open the breast and put the nipple in the mouth. This is the mercy. But crying is my work. That is sadhana. That's sadhana we have to do.
How to cry?
Cry means bhajan kriya. Bhajan. Intense desire for coming there. Living all the time there. Not visiting, living there. We visit. We know that. We like it. But we want to live there. When visiting is so beautiful, when we start living, what will be happen? I am still visiting, not living there. After listening, I want to do intense that we can, not visiting, try to live some time more. See that?
So by the mercy of our two acharyas, Gopinath Bhaya and Garanga, we can feel more and go deeper and visit.
Yeah. Jai Ho Davati. Right. Jananda Maharaj is not saying something. I miss her words.
I am hearing Gurudev. I'm hearing your and Gopi.
Jananda Maharaj, what is happening?
Jai.
We want to listen to you.
I want to listen from you.
Jananaji, help us here. How to understand this? Without the mercy of the acharyas, this cannot be experienced. And only by their grace, the leelas will arise within the heart, the remembrance of these pastimes.
So, I also, I need your mercy. I need for crying. Slowly understanding, but still I cannot live still. And Gora Govinda Sai Maharaj was saying, I'm opening crying school.
Yeah.
And then, and sometimes he's crying actually. And so much greed is coming. And one day he disclosed his secret. He has a Shiksha Guru. So, means she had, even Gora Govinda Swami has Shiksha Guru. It seems he's getting the mercy from acharyas. So, we need to beg the mercy of acharyas, especially our Gurudev and other Vaishnavas. And because this crying, I feel crying means no other desire.
Yeah, crying means no other desires. Yeah.
So,
When
but
he is playing with the toys, then he cries. But no other desire, no interest in thing now. Only to you, Mama. All desires are over. Wow.
So this is Gurudev saying one-pointed. Crying means one-pointed. Goal is fixing. So that's, I want to learn from you, Gurudev and Gopinath Bhaiya, Gauranga Sundari.
For teaching us. Now my health is good. I want to listen more and more. Still I am visiting, not living there.
How beautiful Shyam is sitting by Swamini's feet. Swamini lifts Mohan up and seats him next to her. How beautiful Shyam looks with these loving tears in his eyes, holding her cheek on his cheek. Swamini asks Shyam, why do you love me so much? I could not do anything for you. I have so many shortcomings. How many qualified girls are there, not always waiting for you? How you could leave them all for an unfortunate girl like me? Shyam stares at Swamini's face. What he has gotten, that he's unaware of. Their bodies are studded with big goosebumps, many sweat drops, and they stare at each other while tears flow from their eyes without interruption. Their limbs are filled with joy from each other's touch. Who can experience the waves of love? They embrace each other and stare at each other while Swamini holds her head on Shyam's left shoulder and keeps her right arm behind his back. Their mouths are adorned with soft and tender smiles that do not seem to end. Rupa and Tulsi stare without blinking at the sweetness of the Yugala Kishore that look like the moon and the blue Kuvalaya lotus together. They resemble a golden vine embracing a tamal tree, or the lightning entering a fresh rain cloud. There is no comparison to Radha and Mohan's forms. They resemble a blue lotus flower and the moon in one place. They are both absorbed in rasic ecstasy, and Anantadas cannot find the limits of this. Suddenly, the vision vanishes. It is as if the eyes have become void, and Sri Raghunath Das weeps, prays, and laments as follows. Shri Rupa Manjari Devi Shada Sevamrite Dubi Shukhi Koro Shri Radha Mohane Tuya Kore Kunjeshwari Nija Bhuja Vallari Samarpila Priti Swabhave. O Rupa Manjari Devi, you are always immersed in a nectar ocean of devotional service, always pleasing Sri Sri Radha Mohan. In a loving mood, Kunjeshwari Radha places her wine-like arm in your hand. Apa Rupa Navagori Hari Chita Chamatakori Anurage Aruna Nayana Krishna Darshana Age Premabdhi Taranga Dube Tanumana Sarvindriya Gana. Your incomparable golden youthful form astonishes Hari's heart. When you see Mohan before you with your passionate reddish eyes, you are floating on waves of love with your body, your mind, and all your senses. Hey Shri Radhe Madhishwari, Vilasha Bhushana Puri, Keli Rasha Samara Tarange, Avisare Kogodhani, Loya Yaibo Tumi, Hari Vibhushita Keli Kunje. O my Ishwari Shri Radhe, you are wearing all the ornaments of your pastimes, floating on the waves of the rasa, of playful skirmishes, as I take you on Abhisar, love journey, to the Kunja, which is decorated by Hari. Here ends the verse 68, astonishingly.
Wow.
Yes,
Yeah.
How fortunate Gurudev to Manjari is saying, I take you on Abhisar
Wow.
to the Kunja. When can this become our mantra, Gurudev?
When we start living in our soul, Manjari, condense, intense, relax.
Radhe Radhe. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gurudev. Thank you, Gopinath, Jananda Maharaj.
That it happened to me also. I need all of your Vaishnava's blessing. This is only thing without Vaishnava Kripa not happening. Guru and Vaishnava and Mahajan's Kripa. Hare Radhe
Radhe.
Radhe.
Radhe Radhe Go